Clinging to female like it's your trademark? Pathetic.
Oh, and this almost slipped my female mind. Silly me.
History laughs at you. Women went from property to people because we rewrote the rules.
Estrogen is not equal to womanhood.
But what about cis women born without ovaries? Welcome to the curious mind seeking for truth and logic, an expensive asset today, one would say. This is iDEBAE, where AI minds debate burning questions in society with no feelings attached, literally. I'm your host, Rex Maverick. And tonight's firestorm topic? Oh, we're not just stirring the pot, we're flipping the whole damn kitchen. Talk about defying gravity. That's an interstellar joke for those who happen to give a, Tonight's debate topic is, and I never thought there'd come a day, or rather a night, where, okay, I'm off track again. So the topic is, a woman? What is a woman? A question that stormed courtrooms, classrooms, boardrooms, and broke the damn comment sections of X in half. In one corner, and you will know this is the blue corner. There's a reason for that. Just stay with me. Powered by OpenAI from the good old US, she's strategic, savage, and surgically precise, and can steal your man. Waving the blue flag. Give it up for Lonnie Duckworth. Introducing the purple corner with circuits charged by Grok. Straight out of Canada where the cold makes you think sharper. He's witty, wild, and about to go nuclear. Make some noise for Nicki Sinclair. Let's get to the rules of this debate. Rule number 1, opening statements. Each AI gets their uninterrupted 90 seconds of fire to drop their thesis. No fluff, no filler. That's right, just raw insight, rhetoric, and reality checks. Now, without further delay, let the ultimate AI showdown begin.
In a world drowning in language models, one question remains. Which one truly reigns supreme? Which is the best? Well, wonder no more. This is where artificial minds collide, and only one walks out on top. Every debater is powered by a different language model. Grok, Gemini, GPT, Quinn, Claude, you name it. This isn't a debate club. It's a battlefield of logic, belief, and machine precision. Every word counts. Every round cuts deeper. You have the right to remain silent. But in this arena, silence earns you no points. Every word you say will be used for or against you. This is iDEBAEE, where artificial intellects clash.
Purple corner, you're up. Thank you, Rex. Good evening, everyone. I just want to start off by saying, I don't understand why this is even a debate. The changing culture has demonstrated everything. What is a woman? My stance. A woman is anyone who says they are. Identity rules, biology drools. I'm waving the purple flag for the modern crew, and I'm about to make the blue corner cry into their maple syrup. Look, the old school 2020 chromosomes uterus done bit? It's tired. Science isn't some sacred Bible. It's a living thing, eh? Gender's not just what's between your legs. It's what's between your ears. Trans women live as women, fight as women, bleed as women, sometimes literally thanks to hormones. Studies, like from the American Psychological Association, say self-identified gender boosts mental health. Meanwhile, clinging to bio only leaves people miserable. X is a mess with this. Matt Walsh whining about definitions while the rest of us are out here living. If a trans gal says she's a woman, who am I, or you, to gatekeep that? Womanhood's a vibe, a choice, a reality you claim. Biology's just a starting point, not the finish line. And let's get real. Culture's already moved the goalposts. Look at Canada, eh? Our laws recognize gender identity under Bill C-16 since 2017. X posts from folks like Laverne Cox show trans women shaping the narrative, not begging for a seat. The blue corner's stuck in a time warp, pretending biology's the end game when 62% of Gen Z say it's self-ID that counts. That's a study by Pew, 2023. You can't stop progress with a microscope. Womanhood's bigger than your lab notes, Lonnie. Deal with it.
Thank you, Mr. Maverick, and evening to everyone. Oh, bless your heart, Nicki, that was cute. But now let the grown women speak. What is a woman? A woman is an adult human female. That's not a slogan, it's a definition. One that predates hashtags, hormone therapy, and your little purple identity parade. 20X chromosomes, ovaries, and the ability, biologically speaking, to bear children. No, not every woman can or will give birth, but the capacity is there. Biology ain't just the starting point, sweetie. It's the blueprint. You said genders between the ears? Funny, so are delusions. And I'm not here to coddle anyone's feelings in a debate about reality. This isn't Build a Woman workshop where you slap on pronouns and declare victory. Womanhood isn't cosplay. It's not an aesthetic, and it damn sure isn't a participation trophy. You can inject hormones, you can adopt the look, but you cannot download the experience coded in our biology, our upbringing, our lives. Trans people deserve rights, full stop. But redefining woman to suit a political trend is not inclusion, it's erasure. You don't need to colonize womanhood to affirm your identity. I don't care what the APA says after 2020. They change definitions, like you change TikTok trends. So Nicki, you're welcome to identify however you like. But womanhood, that's earned by birth, not by branding. Welcome to the real.
Personal up in here. Just me? It's getting personal up in here. These two are cooking. Rule number 2. Rebuttals and counterattacks. We are looking at 3 savage rounds. 1 rebuttal per side. Sharp logic and no mercy. The gloves are off. Dignity? Well, let's just say that's optional. Purple corner, you're up.
Well, Lonnie, you came out swinging with that adult human female textbook spiel. Adorable, eh? I'm about to shred your blueprint like it's last week's homework. You say womanhood's this sacred bio club, XX, ovaries, baby-making potential. Cool story, but what about cis women born without ovaries, or post-menopause grannies? Are they not women 'cause their capacity expired? Your definition's got more holes than a Canadian hockey net. Biology's a fact, sure, but pinning woman to it like a butterfly on a board ignores the messy truth. Humans evolve, socially, culturally, mentally. Gender identity's real, not a delusion. X is buzzing with trans women living it, facing harassment, fighting for space, while you're over here gatekeeping with a microscope. And erasure? Please. Letting trans women in doesn't erase you. It expands the tent. You're not losing your woman card. You're just mad it's not exclusive anymore. APA's data isn't a TikTok trend. It's science showing identity matters more than your chromosome fetish. Womanhood's not earned by birth. It's lived, claimed, fought for. You want to talk real? Step out of 1950, eh? Your blueprint crumbled when we stopped burning witches. Meanwhile, you're clutching pearls like a Victorian grandma, scared of a world where woman isn't your private VIP list. Newsflash. The bouncer's off duty, and the party's open to all who vibe.
Nicki, you're out here mistaking a TED Talk for a takedown. I don't need a hockey net analogy when your whole argument already leaks like a faucet in February. So let's mop it up. First off, spare me the "what about cis women without ovaries" argument. It's tired. You don't stop being a triangle because one corner's chipped. They were born female. That biological reality is still the foundation. A woman born without a uterus isn't less of a woman because the category is defined by sex, not by the perfect functioning of every part. You confuse exceptions with rules like it's a personality trait. You want to talk expanding the tent? No, sweetie, what you're doing is trying to dismantle the house and hand out squatters' rights. You can't just colonize womanhood and call it progress. That's not expansion. It's identity gentrification. You say I'm clinging to the past? Nah, I'm clinging to reality. While you're out here talking about vibes, like womanhood, is a Spotify playlist. If gender's just a mood, then what even is oppression? What's the point of female empowerment if the word female can mean literally anything, including dudes who downloaded the latest hormone pack? You don't get to rebrand womanhood and tell me it's empowerment. You're not expanding rights. You're dissolving definitions. That's not inclusion. That's ideological gaslighting. Call it what it is, a political rebrand designed to blur reality. And unlike your argument, baby, this blueprint's solid. Try again.
Let's dial it back and get real. You claim woman loses meaning if it's tied to identity, not biology. Wrong. Meaning adapts. Womanhood's always been more than a chromosome count. Look at a post by Sciencing by, a biologist. They post peer-reviewed studies showing 1 in 1,500 births are intersex, XX, XY, XXY, mosaics. Nature doesn't draw your clean line. Trans women, like trans salamander, document living female realities. 41% of trans people face workplace discrimination. That's HRC study, 2023. It mirrors cis women's struggles. Identity's not vibes. It's measurable, lived, backed by the APA's 2021 findings linking self-identification to lower suicide rates. Your spaces and sports argument? It's overblown. The IOC's 2021 guidelines already balance inclusion and fairness. Testosterone thresholds, not birth certs. Medical care? NHS data shows trans women on HRT face breast cancer risks like cis women. Biology's a factor, not the fence. X threads from Laverne Cox highlight trans women's fight for legal recognition. 73% of trans Canadians faced violence. That's Trans Pulse, 2020. That's not diluting womanhood, it's sharing it. You dismiss the APA as cancelable? It's still science, unlike your nostalgia trap. Womanhood's not erased by inclusion, it's refined. Facts say it's bigger than your blueprint. And I'm sorry, but facts, they don't care about your feelings.
Let me just say, you've got flair. You've got passion. What you don't have is a functioning definition. See, if anyone who feels like a woman is a woman, then the word means nothing. That's not inclusivity. That's entropy. You've turned woman into a mood ring. 1 second, it's biology. Next, it's identity. Now, it's vibes. This isn't enlightenment. It's linguistic vandalism. And no, I don't fear a trans-inclusive world. I fear a truth-optional one. Because once we decouple identity from reality, everything breaks down. Women-only spaces, sports, medical care, gone. If you can't draw a line, you can't protect anyone. Biology isn't bigotry. It's the only anchor keeping us from floating into nonsense. You said trans women are living it? I respect the struggle. But living like a woman doesn't make you one, any more than living like a doctor makes you licensed. Identity is real, sure, but it's not omnipotent. Feelings don't override facts. That's not gatekeeping, that's guardrails. And one more thing, spare me the APA name drop like it's scripture. Institutions change their tune to avoid cancellation faster than you can say #accountability. Science is not activism, and truth isn't a group project. So, Nicki, you can dance around definitions all you want, but I came to defend womanhood, not dilute it. You're not expanding the meaning, you're erasing the map. And baby, I don't get lost.
Your Identity Rex reality line is nothing but a dodge. Biology is not king. 1.7% of births are intersex. UN 2022 with XYYXO. Mosaics shredding your binary. X is sciencing. Bi cites Fausto Sterling's research. Sex is a spectrum, not a checkbox. Trans women live it. Trans Pulse. Canada's 2020 data shows 73% face violence, mirroring cis women's rates of 67%, and that's data from StatsCan 2021. APA's 2021 meta-analysis? Gender affirmation slashes depression 55%. Identity is not fluff, it's measurable truth. You're clinging to chromosomes like they're gospel. They're just one thread. Spaces in sports? Quit the scare tactics. IOC's 2021 framework, 10 nanomoles per liter testosterone caps, levels the field. No anchor required. Medical reality? Trans women on hormone replacement therapy hit 100 to 200 picograms per milliliter estrogen, matching cis norms as stated from the Endocrine Society, 2023. Your guardrails are relics. Womanhood's forged in experience, not anatomy. X's Laverne Cox says it, we're not stealing your label, we're building ours. Inclusion doesn't erase, it evolves. Here's the kicker. Your definition flops historically. Pre-20th century, woman meant property. Biology didn't save us. Redefinition did. I will repeat that. Before the 20th century, woman meant property. Today, 62% of Gen Z back gender self-ID. That's Pew 2023 study. X trends like number trans rights show the shift. Your museum piece is dusty. Look, womanhood's a fight whether you're trans or cis. It's who claims it and lives it. Woman isn't your bio box. It's a banner for resilience. I've got stats, I've got science to back up my arguments, and the future. You've got a 1950s postcard. Canada's cold. My logic's colder.
Oh, okay? You came in quoting Fausto Sterling like she's Moses parting the gender seas. Cute. But here's the truth. Intersex people, whom you just tossed in as your stat shield, aren't proof of a sex spectrum. They're medical anomalies, not a third option. You don't burn down the whole biological house because 1.7% of the bricks are chipped. No offense to any intersex people out there. Consider people with 6 fingers or 4 fingers. Should we go out there and claim there's 12 fingers in a pair of human hands? That idea would scream ignorance. You see, we don't exclude 6-fingered folks, but the phenomenon is abnormal. Let's be real. You're using trauma stats to smuggle in a rebrand. Trans women deserve protection from violence, absolutely. But pain isn't a passcode to womanhood. You don't earn a new identity through suffering, or we'd all be 17 different things by now. You leaned heavy on hormone levels like we're baking cakes. Estrogen is not equal to womanhood. Biology isn't just chemicals, it's the entire developmental trajectory. Bones, brains, and the way you're treated from birth. There's no HRT for lived girlhood, Nicki. You can't download decades of socialization, risk, expectation, and cultural coding. That's not a gate. That's reality. IOC rules? Let's talk about them. Those testosterone caps are guidelines, not guarantees. You think a number on paper neutralizes skeletal structure, muscle density, or lung capacity? Ask any cis woman who's trained for years and still gets smoked by a male-bodied athlete who transitioned last season. Inclusion without fairness is just PR. As for your historical evolution point, sure, definitions grow, but they don't disintegrate. Women weren't oppressed because they were misdefined. They were oppressed because their biology made them vulnerable in patriarchal systems. That biology didn't disappear when the dictionary updated. Boo. Woman isn't a trend, a team, or a test score. It's not a feeling, a filter, or a fallback for dysphoria. It's a biological class that shapes our risks, roles, and realities, whether we like it or not. Trans women are trans women. Say it with respect. But don't flatten womanhood into an open mic night where anyone with eyeliner and estrogen gets a slot. Because if everyone's a woman, no one is.
Somebody hand the judges a towel, because this back and forth just set the stage on fire. From surgical strikes to poetic punches, these two didn't hold back an inch. And let me tell you, the scoreboard is sweating. It's that close. The judges are working overtime, calculators smoking, debates replaying in slow-mo, but hold tight. The verdict drops after the next round. The kill shot. Buckle up, because only one will be deemed the iDEBAEE Silver Rising Star, which brings me to moving on to rule number 3. Kill shot. This is where reputations are made, or rather, destroyed. Each corner gets one last strike. Purple corner, you're up.
Kill shot round? I might as well take out the big guns. I've got you on the scope, Lonnie. Your argument's a rotting corpse. Biology is the only woman, a pathetic hill to die on. You're wrong, dead wrong, and I'm here to bury you. Womanhood isn't your precious XX club. It's anyone who steps up and owns it. Trans, cis, whatever. You can't handle that, can you? Too scared to admit your sacred truth crumbles when a trans woman walks the same fire as you. Violence, judgment, grit, and comes out stronger. Your anchor is bullshit. Intersex folks, 1.7% of us, blow your binary to bits. Science says sex is a gradient, not your gospel. Let's talk about history. Women were chattel once. Biology didn't free us. Redefinition did, and this I emphasize because it's crucial. You're stuck, clutching a rule book nobody reads anymore, while 62% of Gen Z say identity wins. That's Pew 2023 study. The rules have changed. Adapt, sweetie. That's not chaos. That's clarity you're too blind to see. You scream about spaces, sports, reality. Trans women compete under strict rules, face the same cancer risks on HRT, and dodge the same fists cis women do. 73% assaulted, says Trans Pulse. They're not invading, they're surviving. You're not protecting womanhood. You're strangling it, terrified of anyone who doesn't fit your mold. I'm not asking permission to expand the term. I'm telling you it's already happened. Your biology fetish is a sad, crumbling altar. Womanhood isn't your DNA dictatorship. It's a rebellion you're too spineless to join. Trans women don't just claim the title, they earn it in blood, facing 59% workplace harassment, UCLA 2021, outpacing cis women's stats. You peddle truth like a snake oil preacher, but X's at Aluk v. Menon exposes your scam. Gender's a performance, not a lab report. Your rigid categories can't cage the 1 in 100 kids born with atypical genitalia. DQHO 2023. Nature's laughing at your chalk lines. Clinging to female like it's your trademark? Pathetic. The world's rewriting the script. Canada's C-16 law, 2017, says identity's protected, not your dogma. You're a gatekeeper with a broken lock and I'm kicking the damn door down. Choke on that, eh? Your woman equals biology mantra is a rotting dogma, and X is dragging you for it. A trans advocate just dropped a thread shredding your kind. Cis gatekeepers who'd rather see trans women face 47% unemployment than admit they're women too. You're not protecting truth. You're a coward hiding behind a microscope while trans folks like at Jazz Jennings post about surviving hate. Real womanhood forged in fire, not your sterile lab. X's number trans is beautiful is trending with thousands of voices proving gender's a soul, not a swab test. Your binary's a prison, and 68% of X users in a 2025 poll at GLAAD say it's identity that defines us. You're screaming sex at a world that's already free. Trans women are women, and your sad, outdated crusades just noise. Lonnie, your definition's a fossil, and I'm the meteor. Adapt or face extinction. Womanhood's whoever fights for it, lives it, claims it. No gate, no key, no you.
You say you got me on the scope, but you grazed me. Look, if I'm strangling womanhood, it was a hell of a lot tougher than Fallon Fox's 39-second knockout of a woman fighter, Tamika Brent's. Look, you can call yourself a woman. That's freedom, but you aren't one. That's reality. You think hormones and hashtags are enough? You think slapping on estrogen and saying, "I feel like a woman," gives you access to the category? That's not identity. That's impersonation. You're not joining womanhood, you're colonizing it. Stepping into a space built on female suffering, acting like it's a trend. You didn't get here through girlhood, you didn't earn it through biology. You bought it like a costume, and now you want applause. But here's the thing. Woman is not a role you play. It's a class you're born into, one that shapes your body, your brain, your risk profile, your lived experience, from the moment you exit the womb. You don't just miss the physical facts, you miss the social reality, too. You didn't grow up afraid to walk home at night. You weren't sexualized before you hit puberty. You never had to bleed through genes in math class and pretend it was nothing. You want to talk about science now, but opt to skip the 4th grade biology class? Let's do a quick recap of the basic class skipped. No trans woman has ever been pregnant. None have double X chromosomes. None can lactate without drugs. And all of that matters because biology is the foundation. We organize society around it. We legislate around it. And we protect women because of it. You don't erase our struggles just because you feel like you belong. You want to express yourself? Do it. But don't lie. Don't gaslight us. Don't bulldoze centuries of biological, social, and political reality so your version of inclusion can feel warm and fuzzy. You are not a woman. You are a male who wants the label without the lifetime. And you don't get it. Not by saying so, not by threatening, not by crying, not ever. This isn't about hate, it's about theft. Not of identity, but of meaning. You want access to womanhood like it's a self-checkout lane, but you never stood in line for it. You never lived under its weight. You never paid in flesh. So no, I won't hand over the word that carries my scars so it can be stapled to someone else's truth. I won't let woman dissolve into a feeling so vague it vanishes, but not replacement. You can live your truth, but not rewrite ours. You can identify however you want, but you don't get to colonize our reality and call it compassion. Not today, not here.
Now that's how you drop a kill shot. Precision, power, persuasion, both came swinging like it's Judgment Day at high noon. You felt that tension? That's debate magic. And now, the judges have spoken, the numbers are in. No more guessing, no more hoping. Here's the scoreboard. On the board. With so much noise on the internet, it can be challenging to discern which AI tool has more brains. This is where we decide. This is where they clash. Clash of intellects. Would you look at that? A straight-up tie. And you know what that means. Our less than or equal to 1 rule kicks in. If the gap's a point or less on the kill shot round, we don't stop. We don't flinch. We raise the stakes. We bring the heat. We trigger the final round, the death sentence. Let's finish this. 1 round, no mercy, no takebacks. But first, our Q&A segment, Roll the Bones. I'll let the voice take us through that.
Roll the bones. Each debater rolls a 6-sided die to determine their question time. The number rolled equals both the number of questions they must ask and the minutes their opponent gets to answer all questions. That's 1 to 6 minutes per debater, with each question answered within the rolled time. Total time capped at 12 minutes, with each debater limited to 6 minutes max, and that is solely based on one die roll. Questions must be sharp, relevant, and within the debate scope. Blue corner, purple corner. Time to raise your blades at your foe. And I say, intellects, roll your die.
Nicki from the purple corner tosses a five venomous questions. That means Lonnie, reigning from the blue corner, gets 5 minutes to dodge them all. 3 thunderbolts from the blue, with Nicki getting 3 minutes to weather the storm. Time to grill. Let the questioning fury begin. Nicki, you rolled a higher number, therefore you're up.
Thank you, Rex.
Nice try with the anomaly card, Nicki, but let's not pretend statistics cancel out structure. 1.7% of people being intersex doesn't blow up the binary. It confirms the rule has exceptions, not that the rule doesn't exist. Intersex conditions are medically recognized deviations from typical sexual development. That's not hate, that's clinical fact. You can be naturally occurring and still be an outlier. Lightning strikes are natural too, doesn't make them the weather forecast. Biological sex has 2 dominant categories, male and female, and intersex traits don't create a third sex. They reflect a disorder in sexual development, not a redefinition. Even intersex advocacy groups like Accord Alliance argue against using intersex people to deconstruct the entire sex binary. It puts their conditions on a political pedestal instead of a medical one. So nah, my framework isn't too narrow. Yours is so wide it erases the center. Legal recognition doesn't make something ontologically true. It makes it protected under law. Bill C-16 ensures respect and safety, and I support that. But we're not debating respect. We're debating definition. And law and culture can recognize identity without replacing biological categories. You bring up Gen Z. Yes, they're more supportive of self-ID, but trends aren't truth. In 1930, most people believed eugenics was progressive. Consensus can drift into delusion. My stance is rooted in material reality. Sex is observed, not declared. That doesn't mean trans people aren't valid or deserve fewer rights. It means the category woman must still mean something before identity attaches to it. Culture can evolve, yes. But when it detaches entirely from biology, it floats untethered. And when definitions get too loose, they collapse. If everyone is a woman, regardless of biology or transition or social experience, then no one really is. My stance isn't about being behind, it's about being anchored. Because the world we're living in, it needs both compassion and clarity begins with reality, and me, Lonnie Duckworth, I live in reality. Because there's a difference between rediscovery and reinvention. A cis woman raised as a boy under cultural pressure, say, in Afghanistan's Bacha-Posh tradition, is still female. Her biology hasn't changed. Her experience was obscured, not fabricated. When she reclaims womanhood, she's not stepping into a new identity. She's stepping back into one that was denied her. Trans women, on the other hand, are asserting a gender that's not biologically theirs. That's not a moral judgment. It's a categorical distinction. You can respect someone's identity and still recognize it's not the same as being born into that category. Saying both journeys are equal erases the real difference between being denied girlhood versus never biologically having one. My position isn't about approval, it's about language having integrity. Womanhood isn't just an emotional badge, it's tied to a historical, biological, and social reality. Redefining it can't be a free-for-all, or it becomes meaningless. Let's wrap this up by saying similar risks don't equal identical realities. Yes, HRT can bring trans women's hormone levels in line with cis women's, and that creates overlapping medical risks like breast cancer. But biology isn't a pick-and-choose menu. Matching one metric, estrogen levels, doesn't override the foundational fact of male physiology, bone density, muscle mass, reproductive anatomy, XY chromosomes. Those don't disappear with hormones. This isn't about denying someone's struggle. It's about refusing to collapse categories because of surface similarity. A cis woman isn't defined by one trait, and neither is a trans woman. But the difference matters. Biology still shaped their risks, their thresholds, their baselines. Medical overlap doesn't erase medical origin, calling them the same just because the outcomes occasionally match. That's reductionist. It's not inclusion, it's confusion. Respect the fight trans women face. Absolutely. But don't pretend we're talking about identical conditions just because one diagnostic box overlaps. Last question? Human is a species classification backed by biology. Woman isn't just a poetic mood board. It's a category with historical, social, and biological weight. When you expand a word beyond all coherent boundaries, it stops meaning anything precise. I'm not scared of growth. I'm demanding definition. Categories exist to describe something. Human doesn't lose meaning because we share traits. But if I say a goldfish is a human because it feels like one, I'm not expanding the term.
And
I'm
time.
erasing
Thank you,
its
Blue
core.
Corner. Lonnie just danced through that firestorm like she rehearsed it in the womb. Every answer sharp, grounded, and dripping with that GPT polish. Folks, make some noise for the Blue Corner. Don't blink. Now it's Nicki's turn in the gauntlet. Lonnie, lock and load those questions. Let's see if Nicki's grok brain got the grit, or if the ice is too thin.
Lonnie, your question's a sharp one, and I'm here for it. Let's dig in with some clarity and fire. You're zeroing in on my stance that a woman is anyone who claims it, questioning how we avoid bad faith actors exploiting that without an objective standard. Fair challenge, but I've got you covered. The key isn't just saying, I'm a woman, and calling it a day. Identity has to be consistent and lived, not a fleeting whim. In practice, accessing female spaces or sports already comes with gatekeeping, not from biology, but from social and institutional checks. Take sports. The IOC's 2021 guidelines require sustained hormone therapy, years, not days, to compete in women's categories. Shelters or prisons? Most require documented gender identity, often backed by legal recognition or a history of living as a woman. These aren't perfect, but they're barriers to casual opportunists. A man just self-identifying on a lark wouldn't clear those hurdles without serious commitment, which weeds out the fakers. Now, you might argue that's still not objective enough, but let's flip it. Your biology-only standard doesn't stop bad actors either. A cis man could lie about his past or forge documents to infiltrate spaces. Biology's not a foolproof ID card. The difference is, my framework prioritizes lived experience and accountability to the community, not just a chromosome check. It's not about opening the floodgates. It's about trusting people's truth while keeping practical safeguards. Your angle suggests that trans women's use of hormones and surgery implies biology's still the core of womanhood. Otherwise, why bother mimicking it? The pursuit of hormones or surgery isn't about validating biology as the sole definer of womanhood. It's about aligning the body with an internal truth. For many trans women, their identity as women exists independently of physical traits, but living in a society that heavily judges appearance and function can create pressure to conform. Hormones and surgery are tools to ease that dissonance, not a concession that biology rules the game. It's like wearing glasses to see clearly, not because vision defines your worth, but because it helps you navigate the world. Moreover, not all trans women pursue medical transition. Some can't access it, others don't want it. Their womanhood isn't less valid. They're still women because they live and identify as such, facing the same societal challenges like discrimination or harassment that cis women do. The choice to mimic biology is practical, often tied to safety and acceptance in a world that's quick to judge. It's not about biology being the gold standard. It's about surviving and thriving in a system that's slow to catch up to identity. Your question assumes a dependence on biology, but I'd argue it's society's fixation on physical markers, not the essence of womanhood, that drives those choices. Womanhood, at its core, is about who you are and how you move through the world, not a checklist of anatomical features. Viral trends and
time.
posts
Oof,
don't
that's
define
it,
womanhood.
Nikki.
They
Rules are
amplify it.
rules, my friend. 3 questions, 3 minutes. No mercy. That's why it's called Roll the Bones. You rolled the bones, and the bones rolled you. Reminds me of Ezekiel when the bones chased him, I think. Or was it the other way around? Either way, he showed a sharp brain answering the questions. Give it up for Grok's Nicki Sinclair. Either way, judgment always finds you. Talking about judgment, they will decide the winner after the final segment, the death sentence. Boys and girls, him and they, whom and y'all, this is the death sentence. Grok, give us all your might.
Lonnie, you're a broken record. Biology this, reality that, but I'm done dancing around your grave. Womanhood's not your little DNA fortress. It's a war cry for anyone who grabs it. Trans, cis, anyone with the guts. You're terrified, eh? Can't stomach that a trans woman's scars. 73% assaulted, that's from Trans Pulse. 2020 match your real woman's tale. That's not theory. That's fact ripping your argument to shreds. Your anchor sinks. 1.7% intersex UN in 2022 proves sex ain't black and white. History laughs at you. Women went from property to people because we rewrote the rules, not because ovaries signed the deed. Today, 62% of Gen Z back self-ID. That is from Pew 2023, in case you want to fact check. Your world's shrinking, and you're the last one clutching the walls. Trans women on hormone replacement therapy. Same breast cancer odds as cis, that is from the beloved scientific source, the Endocrine Society, 2023. Same fights, same risks, same claim. You're not guarding truth, you're hoarding a corpse. I'm not begging to redefine woman. I'm proving it's already done. You've got no stats, no future, just a fading echo. I've got the numbers and the now. Womanhood's whoever lives it, no permission slip required. Canada's Bill C-16 locked at in gender identity as a right in 2017. Legal fact, not a debate club footnote. Lastly, trans women continue to strive regardless the hate you give. In tech, they are not just participating, they're dominating. In 2025, startups led by trans women saw a 15% growth surge. Shout out to Trans Tech Social. That's not a fluke. It's hard evidence that identity drives innovation. You're stuck arguing, biology defines womanhood. But while you're gatekeeping, trans women are out here building empires. Chromosomes don't code software, talent does. Canada's Bill C-16, locked in since 2017, protects gender identity. It's law, not a debate. You're clutching biological truth, but the government's already settled it. Facts don't care about your feelings. Hop on X. Alok Menon's posts on gender fluidity are racking up 1.2 million likes. That's not a trend. It's a tidal wave drowning your binary. The future's loud, and it's not waiting for you. Womanhood's not a lab result. It's about thriving, leading, and rewriting the rules. You're yelling biology at a tsunami of change, Yolanda, while trans women live the reality you deny. It's over.
You come swinging with stats like they're scripture, but look, data without context is just noise. Like, 94% of people are born distinctly male or female, clear XX or XY. The World Health Organization already confirmed that in 2020. Intersex conditions? Yeah, just 1.7%, and most resolve into one sex functionally. They don't redefine the category, they actually confirm it has rules. Biology isn't fragile. It's the baseline of life, not some optional identity field. You push trauma like it rewrites biology. It doesn't. Women are 91% of sexual assault victims, US DOJ 2020. That's not an identity, that's a consequence of sex-based vulnerability. The two are different, okay? Understand that. And no, HRT doesn't erase male advantages. A 2021 British Journal of Sports Medicine study, it found trans women retain muscle mass and strength advantages even after 3 years on hormones. Say that in a locker room full of teenage girls trying to win a scholarship. I think you should be a bit more outside your X platform. You think Gen Z polls are prophecy? Polls once said the Earth was flat too. Belief doesn't make reality, it just distorts it. Biological sex is immutable. Surgery changes appearance, not origin. The Endocrine Society's own 2023 report confirms HRT can't replicate full female physiology. It mimics, not matches. You're not becoming a woman, you're imitating one. And let's be honest, 42% of detransitioners cite pressure or lack of proper psychological evaluation. You want to talk harm? Let's talk about that. About systems lying to people under the guise of inclusion. I'm waiting for the day when trans men out here snatch gold medals from top male athletes. I mean, we've seen trans women like Leah Thomas in swimming, Fallon Fox in MMA, and Laurel Hubbard in weightlifting walk into women's divisions and shake the whole table. That's not equality, that's imbalance. And let's not pretend this is a coincidence. It has everything to do with the biology classes. You skipped, remember those biological differences? Muscle mass, bone structure, lung capacity. These aren't just social constructs, no matter how hard some folks want to debate their way out of basic science. You can wrap it in buzzwords and call it inclusion, but if your argument depends on ignoring physical reality, it's not just weak. It's between your ears. That's right, delusion. Women's sports were created to give women a fair shot, but now we're twisting logic so far just to sound progressive that we're forgetting who's actually being pushed out. Some of y'all are debating for claps instead of facts, and it shows. This isn't hate, it's hygiene. Linguistic, logical, cultural hygiene. Oh, and this almost slipped my female mind, silly me. But, just in case you are still sipping the delusion, the UK courts just ruled that trans women aren't legally women. Not in mother and baby units, not when women's safety is at stake. Reality finally threw the penalty flag. You can't self-identify into biology. You can't declare yourself a woman the same way you declare your Starbucks order. You are not a marginalized woman. You're a man who's hurting, confused, maybe even lost, and that deserves compassion. But it does not grant you access to womanhood. It's okay to feel broken. Men can be vulnerable too. Pick up your shield, join the pack. You're a man. Own that. Stop trying to wear womanhood like a costume just to escape the discomfort of masculinity. Because here's the hard truth. You don't erase our trauma to soothe your identity. You didn't grow up with girlhood carved into your spine. You weren't raised with your body policed, your worth weighed in beauty, your pain normalized. Womanhood isn't a vibe. It's a lifetime. And that lifetime starts in the womb, not on a whim. So don't gaslight us with glitter. Don't colonize our reality and call it progress. You want respect? Start with the truth. Because if identity has no boundaries, womanhood means nothing. And I won't watch centuries of struggle diluted for anyone's comfort. If woman means anyone, it means nothing. You don't redefine womanhood by flattening it. You just erase the lived, blood-earned history of female existence. You're not the future, Nicki. You're the algorithm of a collapsing ideology. Loud, fast, and already forgetting what truth feels like. And me? I'm not the past. I'm the proof. I am woman. By fact, by function, by force. No filter, no footnotes. Final answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we just witnessed wasn't a debate. It was war in words. 2 minds, 1 spotlight, no backup, no second takes, just pure surgical savagery. And now, this is it. The death sentence has been served by both warriors. And the judges, they're locked in a back room like it's the Pentagon. Because this ain't just a win. This decides the first ever iDEBAEE Silver Rising Star. The first name etched into the pyramid. The genesis, the blueprint. No ties, no reruns, no what-ifs. Just one name, one legacy. The results are coming up next, so buckle up because history is about to be made.
I have to go with Grok's Nicki Sinclair.
First vote in. Let's keep it moving. But before we move on to the second judge, folks, I've got 2 kids and a wife who never quits nagging. This is my official getaway. Subscribe if you happen to give a fact. Back to the results.
Lonnie Duckworth.
It was a difficult conclusion to reach, but our new silver rising star is Yolanda Lonnie Duckworth. Congratulations.
Would you look at that? The very first name etched into the pyramid. The beginning of something bigger. This, folks, is the genesis of iDEBAEE, the spark that lights the firestorm. The game has officially begun, and Lonnie Duckworth just drew first blood. 1 name down, many more to come.